All right, good morning, class of 2025. So today is April 29th, 2020. So that means today is Wednesday. Let's buzz in. All right, so your vocabulary word. So Tuesday word was devour, and our word for today is exonerate. So you know that you need to find a definition of this word, create your own definition of this word, and create a sentence for that word. Okay? Moving on. Let's get into our lesson. Hey. All right. So, our lesson objective today is comparing and contrasting text. All right. So, the what. We will determine central idea and how they are developed. We will identify the author's purpose and point of view. We will also analyze how the text structure chosen for the passage organizes and develops ideas. We will also compare and contrast authors' text presentation. Okay. So we're moving on down to the why, to the why, to the why, to the why, to the why. So we will learn that when we close read, it helps identify key information and compare it to information that we read in a previous account. So in a previous story, okay? So if it's compare and contrast text, what do you think we'll be doing today? Compare and contrasting text. Wow, so smart. All right, in the how, we're going to compare and contrast two informational texts on the same topic. We're going to analyze the different ways authors present important information on the same topic by improvising different evidence or advancing different interpretations of similar facts. Okay? So let's pause, let's stop, let's pause right there. Let's move on over to the lesson. Okay. All right, so the lesson, comparing, contrasting text. Let's jump right on in. So, before we jump in, I want you guys to just see the two different people may have very different thoughts about the same topic. Okay? So we're going to learn to compare and contrast the reading text about the same topic. That's what we're doing. But you have to think about it like this. You and your friend don't think the same thing about the same topic, right? So if you're like, I don't know, maybe for the guys, y'all can compare. What do you think 2K 2020? Do you think it's a good game? Do you think it's raw? Do you need it? You and your friend will have a different feeling about the game. Even if you feel the same way, it won't be the exact same feeling, And ladies, that's just like with you. I don't know. Maybe you're doing asking your friend about the new Snapchat filter. If you think that it's gonna stay long, or if you think that it's one of the best Snapchat filters or the favorite Snapchat filters, you guys are not gonna feel the same way about something, right? Okay. So let's go ahead and jump in. So imagine that two artists use the same paints to paint a mountain scene. One creates a dark, scary landscape, and the other paints a bright, peaceful place. Even though the artists use the same material and paint the same subject, their results depend on the effect they want to achieve and the colors they choose to create those effects. In the same way, authors may write about the same topic, but depending on their purpose, they may choose to focus on a different detail and evidence. As a result, they produce very different products, okay? So let's look on down at our cartoon. So we're looking at the two bubbles to see that these two students, or probably not even students, I'm calling them students, have different thoughts about the same topic. So the topic is stopping global warming. So the lady or girl, she says, what causes global warming? Okay? And the gentleman says, what's going to happen to those poor bears? So you see that the topic is still the same for both of them, global warming, but they're feeling two different ways about it. She's concerned because she don't actually know what global warming is. So she doesn't even understand the meaning behind this picture. She has more questions. All right. And he's saying, okay, he know what's going to happen. So if that happened, if global warming has happened, then what's going to happen to the bears? Okay. All right. Just give you a few seconds to look at that. So we're going to go ahead and move down, and we're going to look at our chart. So this chart shows several facts about global warming, okay? So based on the character's reaction, we're going to look at these facts and choose by each character for his or her report, okay? So general facts, we have general facts. Earth average temperatures are increased. Rising temperatures results in melting of the polar ice caps. Polar ice melts cause sea levels to rise. So that's just general facts. And then the cause of problems. So go ahead and take a look at the cause of the problem and the effects of wildlife. So that we have fossil fuel emission release heat trapping gas into the atmosphere, and then the additional heat rises local temperature and in turns impact Earth climates. The effects on wildlife is losing of habitat due to ice melts, resulting in decrease of animal population, and then changes in feeding and migration patterns, but puts animals at risk. So if they're not able to get the food that they need, lack of food, meaning if you don't eat, can't really live off nothing, right? It's a greater chance of them dying. All right. So let's move on down. So let me go back because I don't want to miss the point that I'm trying to get. So the point that I'm trying to get is that these two people are looking at a poster, but they're having different emotions about the same topic. Okay. So they're basically, you would look at them as two authors, right? So if they were writing a book about stopping global warming or global warming in general, the lady, her book will more so be about what's the cause, right? So her question is what causes global warming. So hers would be more about like why is it happening, right? Where his would be more about when global warming happened, then what happens to the animals, okay? So same subject, this is subject, right? But different results depending on how um what the author is trying to achieve. So their achievement would be coming to the conclusion of what global warming is and what happened after global warming as far as the animals. Okay. Okay. All right, let's move on down. Let's move on down. All right, so the next text we're going to read, the next text that we're going to read, okay, it's persuasive essays. So in this lesson, we're going to learn, well, not going to learn, we're going to read an informational text. So we need to know that one of the persuasive essays is like the author's offering an opinion and then gives a claim supporting with evidence, including facts and examples and reasons. And the reason for this persuasive essay is to convince readers, us, to agree with the author's perspective. Okay, so they're trying to persuade us. So we're going to read about global warming. Why? The side effect of warming are informational texts meant to inform us. Okay? And then you guys are going to read another story called Some Simple Water Science. It's a factional report that is also meant to inform you guys as readers. And then Big Fish in Troubled Water is another one underneath. And Protecting the Ocean, One Choice at a Time. They're also, they're scientific accounts, okay? So It's about the declining of the fish population and the purpose to is to use the facts to inform you as readers. Okay, so you still have what, 3 more pieces of articles to read so that you can answer the questions that's in your, what is this lesson? This lesson is compare and contrast. In your compare and contrast form sheet, which you will have all of your work that you need to turn in as far as your form sheets. Now all of your forms are in one location, okay? All right, so let's go ahead. Let's get started. Get reading. Let's get started. All right, so the next lesson that we're gonna read, right? Global warming and why. Um, So we will learn in this lesson how to determine the way the author's purpose shapes the choice of details, empathize, and an account, which can help them compare and contrast. When they say account, they're more so meaning talking about the story or articles that we read. So let's go ahead and jump into this. But before we jump right in, let's pause really quickly. The question I want you to think about is, how does the author's purpose shape the focus of the account and the key information he presents? Okay, so that's the question that you're going to think about as we read. All right. So, scientists who study climate models and climate patterns are concerned that the Earth's average temperature seems to be increasing. They also report that the warm up of even a few degrees will have far reaching effects on climate, wildlife, human fuel production, and freshwater supplies. Why is this happening? To understand global warming, imagine that our planet is wrapped in a blanket. The blanket is made up of carbon dioxide and other gases that collect and trap the sun's heat in the Earth's atmosphere. It is important to understand that this blanket serves as protection from the intensity of the sun and the dangerous rays. The burning of fossil fuels and other human activities, however, have changed the makeup of the protective covering. In simple terms, by adding more gases, we've added more layers and blankets trap more heat than it should. Heat that changes our environment. So again, back to that question, how does the author's purpose shape the focus of the account and the key information he presents? All right, so we have this chart here. This chart here is just to help us fill out the different focus points, okay? So for focus 1, so we need to fill in the columns 2 and 3, then compare and contrast the ideas we wrote. So that means we'll be coming back to this page. So the focus account 1, so a quick think aloud. So I know that the article doesn't actually tell the author's purpose, but I can figure it out just based on what I read, right? So in the first paragraph, I see that the author points out the problem of global warming, and then the author asks, why is it happening? So the author asks that question. So in the second paragraph, he answers that question, right? So that's telling me that the writer is explaining why global warming occurs, all right? Then we'll go right back down to this chart, which helps us. This chart is going to help us organize the details. I compare and contrast and focus on both of the two different texts, okay? So just based on these 2 paragraphs, right, of this text, I think that the author's main focus for this one is to inform readers about what global warming is and what causes this rise in Earth's temperature. He also explains the process just to clarify the information for us readers. All right, so I'm going to show you that in writing. All right, so let's hold off on that because I forgot. All right, so let's go ahead and continue reading. So we're gonna read another account about global warming, and then we're gonna compare and contrast the two. Okay, so this was the second account. We'll go right here, and then this is our compare and contrast. All right. So remember to pay attention to your close reading and your hints, because your close reading helps us identify key information and compare it to information that we have read in the previous account. And then the hint will help us to compare and contrast the two. All right. All right. The Side Effects of Warming by Dia Garza. All right. Global warming widely impact both Earth's climate and the environment as a whole. The Arctic region, in particular, are suffering due to climate change. Glacial ice is melting at an alarming rate. The amount of ice lost in recent years equaled the combined area of Alaska, Texas, and Washington. This change to the Arctic landscapes endanger many of the creatures living there. Polar bears, for example, depending on glacier ice, it allows them to travel far from land to open water to find their favorite prey, seals. A decrease in this ice limits the bear's ability to reach their prey, thus reducing their chance to survive. Only by changing human habits that contribute to climate change, such as use of fossil fuels, we can stop the harmful effect of global warming on wildlife. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to answer this next question. How does the focus of the account differ from the account on the page ahead? Okay. We're also going to go back and find the focus of our account too. Okay. So first I want you to go ahead and think about that before we even move on. So Antarctic, not Antarctic. The Arctic wildlife is a risk because of global warming, specifically the melting of the glacier ice. That's what I would get from this one. But I'm going to show you that on my slide. So with both of them being said, if we're doing compare and contrast, what is something that we would put down? I know that me, when I was doing a think aloud for my first one, I said that, for the second one, the account doesn't tell, um, okay, the account doesn't tell like exactly the main idea, but it presents a claim and it presents also it also presents evidence, right? So let's look at that one more time. So you have your focus account 1, you have your focus account 2, and then your focus account 3, which would be the compare and contrast, is that global warming is causing far-reaching environmental change. Human activity causes global warming, and we know that just based off the simple fact of the last statement that was said. I'll give you a few seconds to look at this. So this part right here. Only by changing human habits that contribute to climate change, such as the use of fossil fuel, can stop the harmful effect of global warming on wildlife. Okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna answer this question, these two questions. Then you're gonna move on to your guided practice. Now remember, in your guided practice, you also have two different stories that you're gonna read and compare and contrast and answer the questions to. That also goes along with your Common Core for today. Two stories that you're gonna read and answer questions to. Okay? So let's go ahead and go back to the classroom really quickly so you just see. what Miss Hall is talking about. All right, so this is Wednesday. This is your material, PDF material is the same lesson we just did. It's just now that you can use the actual text, you can go from page to page if need be. Compare and contrast, that's the forms. That's the forms that you need for today. So that would be like your guided practice. That will be your Common Core, your exit ticket. All of that can be found here. This is your IXL that you need to complete for today. I will be checking it, and you should have a 70 and above so that you can receive your grade for today. Okay. So the IXL that you're doing today is comparing informational from two texts. Okay. And then you have your Google slide. Your Google slide is the same thing that you get to see from me that has your notes and your vocabulary of the day. Okay. Remember, everything you need is under this one tab. All your questions under this one tab, okay? If you guys have any questions, any comments, any concerns, please go ahead and send me an email or leave a comment underneath one of your assignments, and I'll get back to you. Please make sure that you are reaching out and respecting the times that you are texting or calling, not just me, but for all of your teachers. Okay? You guys have a great one. Have a great day. I'll talk to you guys soon. Miss you guys much. Love you.